Hey guys, here we go again, Monday Live, and lots of questions coming in, lots of things that we'd like to ask and answer. But there's a few things I'm going to talk about first. I wanted to thank you guys. You know, there's so many things we're doing and putting together, and it's on you. I put something out on Instagram. It was a little clip, a teaser clip of Michael Franchise, where I said we're going to war. It went viral. We got over 600,000 views on it. I really appreciate that. All you negative guys, eat your heart out. So that though, these are true people, true friends, true family. So, and I also wanted to ask a question. You know, it's Monday. We were jockeying around times. I heard Richie and Anna talking about it, and Amina. So I just want to know from you guys if this is a good time or a bad time, or you would like it at a different time. I could move the schedule. So if you guys write in and you would like a different day or a different time, if there's enough of you saying that, you know, I'll see if I can have that done. I'm almost sure I could. So I wanted to be conscious of that, you know, not just what's good for me, it's good for you guys. Maybe it's easier on a different day at a different time. I really don't know. I know it's going in different countries, different states, there's different times. So for me, it's a little confusing. Actually, 1 is not bad for me, from 1 to 2. So, but I really, you know, I'm thinking about what's good for you guys. So if you guys want to say things, you know, what's a good day or time, if enough people say that same thing, I'll change the time. Again, doing a lot of things. The Michael thing is going good. The other one, all the interviews I did with Anthony, I think I have almost 500,000 hits with the interview with Anthony. It was 3-parter. I think he's got over 150, 175,000, whatever it is, on his station. So added together, you're talking about close to 700,000 hits, and everybody liked that. The comments, you know, I put 2 hours a night when everybody's gone, and I'm sitting back and I'm having a cigar and a cup of coffee. I ate, I'm relaxing. I read comments. I read as many as I could read. And at night, I talk to the advisor. She does a lot of reading of comments and stuff like that. You know, my girls, my team, have become so knowledgeable of the mafia. They'll read the comments. They'll know certain comments I won't answer, or because they understand Cosa Nostra now almost as good as you guys do and I do, and so they know certain comments I wouldn't answer or talk about certain people. So it makes it easy. Then I'll talk to the advisor at night, 7, 8 o'clock at night. She comes from California, and she'll read off, you know, a bunch of them, you know, and I say, okay, good, okay, good, okay, good. Sometimes I answer. So when the answer comes through, she's texting you the answer. But I want you to know she's not making the decision. She's already asking me. I tell her. She makes a note. So when she's answering you, the advisor is answering you, it is me. But I don't have 15 hands, or I got different people doing different things, or I can't get to everything. There's just too many. The numbers are too big. So I wanted you to know that as well, because some people, is this really you? So the advisor said, you know, I said, listen, you asked me the question. I gave you the answer. Yes, tell them it's me. Because you're not putting your own mind in there. You're putting what I'm telling you. So it is me. So I wanted you to know that too. Any other questions you have about my operation or what we're doing, or just send those questions in. I've heard a couple of questions that I think are great, and there's some questions we never got to. So let's start, I think. And let me tell you that I'm not sure. Is it Wednesday? This Wednesday, the warden?
That's what we're shooting for, but it's not absolute.
It's not absolute. Well, this Wednesday or next Wednesday, for sure. The Warden, the 3-part series coming out. Now, it's not about mafia. It's about prison reform. But it's so interesting. This is the guy. This was the biggest warden in the country. He was the warden at the ADX Supermax. We became friendly. He's retired, and he's trying to help me with, prison reform and stuff like that. It's a passion for me. I've done so many years in prison. I've dealt with so many different people. I know their stories. I know some people shouldn't be in prison as long as they are. I'm going to do a little shout out for the consigliere of the Genovese family, Bobby Manna. He was 91. I think he may be even 92 now. He did 30 some odd years. He's sick. Have compassion. Let the guy out. Let him go home and die. He's not going to crack an egg. He's not going to get in trouble. He's not going to do anything. If you can, who's ever judges or people who were there, let him out. Let him go home and die. You're letting people go who are serial killers, child molesters, and I mean, this guy's none of that. And he's 92. So, I mean, I would vouch for him with my life if I could to get him out. I really feel for the guy. I knew him back in the street. He was straight up, goes in Austria. Straight up tough guy. You know, I'm not going to bullshit. He was a man's man. But did his time. He paid his debt to society. 30, so I don't have the exact number, but 30 some odd years. I can go back with that. And he'd be 92. I talked with the lawyer. I wanted to help him. I don't know his case. I won't lie, so I can't help him other than talking about him and saying that he's a good man. He deserves a break. If he did everything they said, then all right, he did his time. When's it enough? And I think even speaking with the warden, he agrees. There's a limit. I mean, we really, you want to say that I'm the bad guy and you're the good guy and you have compassion. And then you'll do this to a human being? Just smother him to death and wait for him to die? You're like a fucking ghoul. And his family. Let his family take him home. And Grandpa, he's 92, bro. When's enough is enough? So, anyway.
Incredibly interesting conversation between you and the warden. We don't want to spoil it, but excuse me, there was, Mary Trump comes up in your conversation,
right,
as the presiding judge. The name slips my mind right now, but the gentleman that is in jail, and he was a superstar with the police officers in New York, and he created the memorials for them, for the fallen officers.
Right,
he ran for
right.
Senate.
His name, I don't remember his name either. Yeah, we talked about him as well. And, there's wardens, think about it, who deal with these people in prison. They even have the compassion, this warden, to feel sorry for them after a while. Enough is enough. There's a limit. If you got a child molester who's raped and killed a little girl, there is no limit. You don't have to make him do life without parole. Put him to death. If the crime is that bad, put him to death. But whatever the other crimes are, there should be some sort of a limit. Yeah. I mean, so I'm working on prison reform. I think I motivated some other heavyweight gangsters and people, and they're talking about it. I know Michael Franchise talked to me about it. We had conversations about it. And, he's for it. He understands it as well. And there's a few other people now imitating me about doing prison reform. I don't care if you're imitating me or not. Do it. It's a good cause. There's a lot of good causes around, but that one. At the end of the show, I'll talk about some political things because I still have things that I'd like to talk about. Hawaii, a few other things. What's going on at the border, fentanyl. Now, not only have I had family members get fucked up with these drugs and stuff like that, but I'm dealing with hundreds of thousands of people Imagine how many people's families I hear this from every week. I hear somebody or something. I feel their pain. I really do. There's so many people. And not to close these borders and not to retaliate for that they're bringing this fentanyl in and we're allowing it to come in. You know, we talk about countries being invaded and this and that and the other thing. Look at our country. Under Biden so far, it's anywhere between 8 and 10 million fucking people came in. That's not an invasion. I don't know what it is. Someday we're going to pay the price for this.
Oh, yeah.
I want to warn you that someday we're going to pay the price for this. We're going to have a rebellion within our own country of millions of people. This isn't a joke. Now, from what I understand, the president put out an app. They get this app, they get a plane ticket, we're flying them in. Not searching them. We don't know what kind of diseases they have. We don't even know who they are. I mean, this is going to blow up in our face someday. If we don't stop these things now, but I'll talk about this at the end of the show. I don't want to get too worked up with that. Yeah. So let's go with the questions and let me shut up a little bit.
Go ahead, Amina.
No worries. Thanks, Sammy. How was your weekend, boss?
My weekend?
Yep.
You really want to know about my weekend, Amina? You? We better. Well, this is X-ray. I had an X-rated weekend, so
okay,
I think my weekend was good. I'm only teasing, Amina.
Maybe not. Moving on. Okay.
I had a good weekend. I went out. I went out to dinner with friends. I went to what's that? Steak 44. Before I went there, we stopped at a cigar bar, which is a block away. I had a couple of cigars. We went with Anna, came with me, and we met a couple other people, and we took some pictures. And I had a nice weekend. I had that night was great. We stopped in the cigar bar for a while, and then I think at six something, by 7 something, we were in Steak 44. We were having a meal. They got great food. Oh my God, great food. I wasn't up that. I didn't eat. Usually I eat a steak there. It's a steakhouse, but they had fish. I had shrimp and stuff, shrimp cocktails, and then I had a fried shrimp plate with some side things, and it was great. It was good. I met the president of Goodwill. Came over and he wanted to meet me. I shook his hand, said hello to him and stuff like that. I tried to shake him down a little bit. I think he got a little nervous and went away. So, but we had a good meal and stuff, and I had a good time. Getting out is good, you know, every once in a while.
As long as you had fun.
Yeah, I did have some fun.
Good. Okay, let's get to these questions real quick. So the first one, first let's give a shout out to Gilbert Goobies Castro, Weekly Envelope. Just wanted to give you a shout out.
My man. Thank you.
And before that, one of your loyal listeners, Jason, just had a friend, Aaron, who was shot to death over the weekend, and just wanted to get a shout out for that. Condolences to you, Jason.
Yeah, condolences to you and his family. And I don't know the situation, but, you know, about people getting shot to death, I do know how families feel. I've dealt with that. I've seen it firsthand. It's not something I'm proud of. It's not something I ever liked. And I can only imagine what the family's going through. I have son, I have a daughter, I have grandchildren. I can only imagine what I would go through just knowing that or finding something like that out. You know, it's one thing when you're sick for a while, you're my age and you're sick for 2-3 years and you finally drop. People expect it, like an actress, Suzanne Summers just died. She was a favorite actress for me, and I always liked her. She's been fighting a 40-50-year battle with cancer, and she finally gave out. I think she was 76, a little younger than me. So that's one thing to hear that, but it's, you know, when you cut somebody's life short, you don't expect it. They have a whole life ahead of them. So, and I don't know how old this guy was, but my sympathy goes out to him and his family.
Okay, we have Menage a Trois. What's your experience in Italy and working with your counterparts in the old country?
You know, I knew a lot of Zips. We call them Zips. It's not a racial thing. And I could say it, I'm Italian. Like black people could say the N-word, I could say Zips. Zips to me are people who were born and raised in Italy and they come here. I dealt with a lot. I didn't deal with them in Italy, but and I didn't know them from there, but I did meet a lot of them in this country. A lot of the Gambinos were from Italy. Paul Castellano had a lot of relationships from, so did Carlo Gambino. So I did know a lot of Zips from Italy, but the ones that were here, most of them I knew were born and raised here, and they didn't call them Zips. We called them just grease balls because we eat a lot of greasy food or something. I don't know. I don't even know why we call them each other. We call each other those names, so we distinguish where they're coming from. So, but I've never dealt with people. I never had the pleasure to deal with the actual Sicilian mafia. Heads up, I never went there. I wanted to go there, but I kept getting busted all my life, so I never was able to go. The State Department wouldn't release me. I was never able to go there. It was on my bucket list. I think it's off my bucket list now. I'll never make it there no more because I'm on lifetime supervised release, which is lifetime parole. So I'll never get there.
We have Vinny Melendez. Hey, Sammy. Formal local 282 Teamster, born in Harlem and now living in Germany. Love the podcast. I know the Genovese family operated in East Harlem. Did you have any dealings or stories in Harlem?
Oh, so many stories in Harlem. You know, there was a part of Harlem, a good part of Harlem was black. So, and we dealt with numbers and different things, construction projects that they were involved. They ran coalitions, stuff like that. I don't know. Is this guy a black guy or a white guy?
Last name is Melendez.
All right, he sounds Italian. Maybe he's Italian black guy. But anyway, we dealt with them in a lot of different ways. Part of Harlem was Fat Tony and places like that. There was a power group of Italians in Harlem and a power group of blacks. And they did interact in a lot of things, gambling things, numbers, construction, sports. You were a Teamster foreman, you know, I don't know how far back you go, but you know I controlled the Teamsters for a while. Right after DB was gone, I controlled the Teamsters for quite a while. Great job, great. It was a power for us, so I think everybody worked it and worked it well. So I did deal with a lot of people from Harlem from time to time.
Okay. We have Red Man from Our Thing. Sammy, I know you've mentioned before that Nicky Scarfo called you for a late night meeting and was talking disrespectful about John, saying he would help you get rid of him, etc. Looking back, do you think this could have been the Genovese family telling Scarfo to do that? Planting a seed in your head so that you could kill John and nobody else would have to. Let me know your thoughts. Love your show.
Now, who's this guy?
His name is Red Man. He's one of your Our Thing.
Red Man, that is a great question. And that's, I like the way you unweave this thing about plots in the mafia. And I never looked at it that way, to be honest with you. But hearing that, you could be 100% right, because Nicky Scarfo was controlled by the Genovese people. They hated John. So could they have been talking to Nicky to fire me up, to kill John, and Nicky would have helped me? It would have been a tremendous favor for them. They would have loved it, because they hated John with a passion, especially Chin Gigante and them. That's a great, I never thought of it that way. So that's very, very good, my friend. You got me a little stumped, not stumped, but I didn't look at it that way, and it could very well be. But I didn't take the bait. You know, I was loyal to a fault. John was my boss, whether I liked it or not. I wouldn't have other people talk to me. I was a little disappointed with Nicky. I felt he put me on the spot. Don't talk to me about my boss, my friend. I don't talk behind people's backs. If I'm mad at somebody, John, I don't give a fuck who it is, I say it. So But I never looked at it that way. Great question, Red. Really great question.
Awesome. Okay, that's all I have for today. Anna, over to you, doll.
Thank you, Amina. Yeah, great weekend, Sammy.
Yeah.
You know, so the dinner conversation, you know what I was thinking about is how your mind is so open to business at all times that the conversation was, oh, the Goodwill guy, nice to meet you. And then when it went more into the business aspect, you're telling the people at the table, well, A through Z, there's so many different business opportunities just with that one person.
Right. The guy didn't understand me, what Anna's talking about, because when I heard he was the president of Goodwill, now, I didn't want to shake him down. I'm not impressed. I don't give a fuck. He could be the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I was respectful. I shook his hand. I said hello, stuff like that. He wanted to meet me. But I also thought they have tens of thousands of stores. So I thought immediately, business-wise, how could I fit my 2 cents in there? Now, they get money. Everybody gives them clothes for nothing. They sell it. They make money. It's a good organization. But they ship these clothes and these things in different parts. So immediately my mind went to, they got to use trucks. So maybe I could have an opportunity to say, is there any way I can get into trucking for you? I'm not going to abuse them to try to get money like a gangster thing. I'm not doing that. That's not what I do.
Right.
But I would be interested in, getting somebody around me who's broke, somebody, my son or somebody. Not that my son is broke, but I would get somebody and say, let's buy 2-3 trucks, and we, listen, whenever they want stuff delivered, we deliver for them. So we're filling a need for him, and we're making money, and we have a relationship. But if there's no need for me, it's hello, thank you very much, goodbye, I'm going to be respectful. But I immediately think of an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunities are like, somebody told me a long time ago, they're like little boats. And when you see an opportunity, try and grab it. Try and understand it, try and work your way into it without threatening. I don't threaten, I don't bully, I don't do bullshit like that. I look at how could I help you and at the same time help myself or somebody around me. I'm not going to drive trucks, but I would be willing to, if I could get a contract from a guy, something like that, then I'd get, like I said, either somebody broke or my son or somebody and say, why don't we buy a couple of trucks? And we have a built-in thing. They're going to be using us constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I see that a lot when you do your virtual sit-downs, you do your one-on-ones, you do your interviews. I see the emails come in asking for your business and entrepreneurial advice. And that's exactly what you tell them, is think outside the box. Don't just hold yourself into this one little aspect.
Right.
Go above and beyond and just consider all the possibilities.
right, when somebody's doing something, see how you could fit into that to help him, not to threaten him or not to bully him, but how could you help him and make money at the same time? So if you could make a relationship like that, that's what I did. That's business and that's an opportunity. If he says, no, I got a company, I am in contract, all right,
Yeah.
no harm done. Boat could go sailing, and what he did. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I always look at opportunities that come by. How could it benefit me or somebody I know who I'm friendly with and is not doing all that well? Why not? I'm going to earn a little piece. He could make a living. We're servicing him just as good as anybody else could, maybe better. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't even think the government, when they would talk to me, when I cooperated, they thought, Sammy, that's great. No wonder why, when we got pinched, nobody ratted on me. Because I don't do that. You see that in the movies all the time. Make the guy an offer he can't refuse. I make a guy an offer that he can't refuse because I try to make sense to the guy. And if he wants to work with me, good. If not, good.
Mm-hmm.
No harm done.
I've heard interviews that from other people that know you that have said, that's how Sammy rose so fast to his underboss position. Violence, okay. And I remember you saying everybody's a tough guy in the mafia.
Yeah.
Set that aside. It was my being patient with people, helping people, standing up for people, saving people's lives at the same time, getting people out of, a pickle.
Yes.
Things like
I mean,
that.
I believe that's what made me rise in the ranks. Paul Castellano had 20, 30, 40 guys around him who would do a piece of work. He didn't need me. But business-wise, working with the unions or working with different families on a beef on who controlled what, that's what attracted him to me, more than killing. I mean, he did use me on a number of occasions, and then I pulled off a hit that was the Johnny Keys hit, which is they're working on. It's going to be a movie. That was spectacular, and that's just me. I do things where people say you can't do this. I become obsessed that I have to do it, and I try to figure out how to do it. I did that in the Johnny Keys thing. Seems like the whole commission. I'm going to tell a crazy story. When we did, me and Michael Franchise did Mafia States of America, and we argued, and he's a racketeer and I'm a gangster, and so on and so forth. And then he said, well, in other words, I'm proud of myself because I was involved in 19 murders. No. I'm not proud of that fact, but the fact that, in other words, I was in meetings that you couldn't be in. Gangsters kill people. The mafia does. Now, you're not going to be, as a racketeer, in meetings that I'm going to be in because I'm one of them. Now, if you didn't do murders in the mafia and you could be a racketeer and make money, you could exceed and excel. But you're not going to be in those kind of meetings. When the heavy shit comes along, I could walk into those meetings. Well, first of all, I'm invited. I don't just walk in. But when I'm invited into those meetings, they know my history. They know what I am. I'm one of them. A racketeer, not quite. If it is a business deal, they'll have you sitting down and it's a business deal. I'm not trying to knock Michael Franchise because he's a good friend of mine now and I like him a lot. I'm just trying to say the difference between a gangster and a racketeer. I can go into meetings like when they were talking about the Kennedy assassination. You're not coming into those fucking meetings as a racketeer. They don't want you. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want you to hear them. They don't want. I could go into those meetings. I'm one of them on that end. And believe me, every boss, you can't become a boss just because you're a racketeer. Now, Paul even was more of a racketeer than a gangster, but he did his route getting there. Now, even Angelo Bruno was the gentle Don. They don't. It's not necessarily that they like to kill, but they're involved in a lot of things. You can't get to a higher level, especially into high stuff, without that background. They're not going to trust you. You're not one of them, so to speak. You are, but there's different groups. The same thing with me. If I was going to talk about work, I had guys around me who weren't killers, but I wouldn't discuss nothing with them like that. They could be around me. They'll know when I'm going to go out, when I'm going to party. They'll drive me to a meeting. But they're not going to be in those they're going to be excluded from those heavyweight meetings. They don't belong in there. So that's the difference I was trying to explain to Michael Franchise between and Patrick Reed David, between a racketeer and a gangster. A gangster, he's accepted. When I came into a room, and I'm a small guy, I'm not physically a big guy, but I got my attention with bosses when I sat down. I was, hey kid, no, it was no, hey kid. When the Johnny Keys hit, the Gambino family got it. The whole commission, 5 families, and the family in Philadelphia was trying to kill Johnny Keys. Couldn't kill him. He had 20, 30 guys around him. He had an army around him. I wound up getting that. Not because I'm a tough guy. I don't even know how or why. Paul just pick me. And my crew, Tato, my crew said, Sammy, nobody could get it done. We could just say, hey, listen, we tried it, we can't get it done. I don't do that in life. And I told them, listen, I always knew I was going to die or go to prison. I'm going to do this fucking thing whether I die. Maybe this is the place where I'll die with those 20, 30 guys. But I have to do it. Wait until it's a movie. I don't want to go too far with it, but that's the difference between a gangster and a racketeer. They're on different levels. And I think everybody who follows me, especially like a guy like Red, the way he understood the mob concept and the deviousness in it with that last question, he would understand that in 2 minutes flat. So I'm talking to you guys. I educate my team about the mafia and about why and how and stuff like that, so they could answer you and they could understand you. And when we write, they're pros at it. And it's not to brag, it's to be knowledgeable of what the mafia really is. If you want to hear fantasy land, there's channels with guys out there. I don't want to mention their names. You can listen to them. And those are the guys who are always knocking me. And I'll tell you why they're always knocking me. I'm not even mad anymore. I understand it. They don't have a fucking story. So if they knock me, they're hoping all you guys go listen to them so they can get views and they'll get subscribers. Mm-hmm. You can stick the views and the subscribers up in your ass. Tell your own story. But they always got to say something about me to try to get views. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the same thing again. A guy who's doing a real podcast, Michael don't bullshit, Frenchies. He tells his story, he says he's a racketeer, and he tells he's business-minded, he's smart. He's not as good looking as me, I don't think. But, you know, and he does his thing. So I got a ton of fucking respect for Michael. And that's why he has a good following, and he's interesting. He'll talk about movies, he'll talk about certain things, you know, and he's good at it.
He doesn't feed into the drama.
No, he don't
at
get
all.
into the drama. He don't get into he said, she said, Bob, all this bullshit. Why don't you do that? I had that asshole, Lee, what the fuck is it, Cole, come and try to muscle me, the stupid motherfucker. He's lucky that it's now. Years ago, I wish he would have did that. Lee Cole would have got a good example of what the mafia really is. Bro, I would have invited him right into Tally's. Come on in, Lee. Come on in and sit down. And my guys would have just smiled and said, all right, Sammy, I'm going to get the bag. I'll go he ain't going out of Tally's no more. But that's the old days, and this is the new days. Yeah. He got a little slap in the face. He was like a bitch crying. Oh, I'm going to call the cops. Get the fuck out of here. Go call the cops.
I've never seen such disorganization.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
And they're talking like they got, and then he's got another guy with him, his partner, I forgot his name, he's brain dead, I think. And he talks, and they don't even know what fucking planet they're on.
They're watching right now, most likely.
Yeah, probably, and I'll hear this because they'll be blasting the shit out of me now.
After this, yeah.
But I'm giving you help. You wanted fucking advice. You wanted help. I'm putting your name out there. You know, if you're a jerk off and you'd like to go and watch them, go ahead. So, but you know what bothers me, that, you know, the mafia is interesting, and our followers and people, they love the crime stories, they love the mafia stories, and to understand it like this guy Red just did. I'm going to keep mentioning his name. I like this guy, the way he understands it. So he should hear authentic stuff. And he learned it like a sponge. Obviously, I don't know who he is or what he did, but that's, you know, when you start telling bullshit stories, that's not the mafia, bro. It's not, you know, and it bothers me a little bit because I had fond memories of the mafia. I'm not going to lie. There's people in the mafia I love. There's some I hated. Roy DeMeo, I hate to keep saying the same name, but Roy DeMeo or somebody, people who became serial killers, I don't like them. But there's a lot of people I loved in the mafia. Frankie DeChico, Tato, Stymie, Peruta, on and on and on. Johnny Holmes. I mean, I had crew, good guys. They were fucking good, loyal guys. They made mistakes, and some of them, they went. But that's part of the life. That's part of the life. I could have went. I almost went a couple of times, shot a few times, stabbed once. You know, but that's the life. That's the way you chose, and sometimes you die like that. But they're like, what's the Japanese guys? The samurais. They're like samurais. They battle. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And they accept that. You know, so, and I accept that. I mean, I don't know how the fuck I survived, but I survived it so far.
You know, I know we talk about the psychology of it, and I love asking you those questions. Like when you went into the pizzeria to meet Johnny Keys, and you're in your 30s, there's 30 guys in there, all killers. There was no shaking, you weren't sweating, you weren't, like the normal average person can't control those physical things, the physiology of their body. They're going to sweat, they're going to choke, they're going to gag, they're going to, you know, shit their pants, whatever. But you walked in with like you knew what you were doing, and you didn't have any of those. How
And
did
like
you
I
control
said,
it?
Anna, I always felt I'm going to pull this off or I'm going to die trying. So if I had that in my head, you might die, bro. This might be the end of it. You know, I go back to the things with the Indians. I did some Indian stuff in prison, and I learned that saying, and he says, "Oh, grandfather, it looks like a great day to die." And that's what when I walked in there, I felt that. I'm fighting for my cause, my family, Cosa Nostra. If this is the day, so be it. That's what took fear away. It's not that I'm normal, I'm afraid of things, I'm afraid of sharks. I don't like sharks. I don't want to be their dessert or their breakfast. Or, I'm afraid of them. So I go in the water. I'm like a bitch. I put my ankles. I'm looking around. No shark, and I'm not going too deep. You know, once I saw that picture of Jaws, but you know, that's the mafia. I love the mafia. I love a lot of the principles of the mafia. I love a lot of the people who are in the mafia. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be talking about. The guy who's just doing 30 years, Bobby Manna, he don't deserve that. He doesn't deserve it. And there's so many people, and there's people who go to wars, soldiers. I was in the military too. They love their country. They think they're doing the right thing, fighting. It's the same thing in Cosa Nostra. We feel the same way. Now, do people bring it to a degree where it's disgusting? Yes. I don't like them. Most guys in the mafia don't like them. So it's not our norm. There's good cops, there's bad cops. There's good politicians, I don't know where they are, and there's bad politicians. So, you know, it is what it is. But I'm not going to come here and I see some of these guys on these shows, I'm doing this for the kids. No, if you were doing this for the kids, you wouldn't even have a show. You wouldn't even talk about it. What I do for the kids is I tell them what it is. You want to be me? You want to be Sammy the Bull? Be Sammy the Bull. Maybe you ain't going to be sitting on a show doing a fucking show, because more than likely you'll be dead or you'll go to fucking prison. So be Sammy the Bull. Enjoy it, jerk off. Do it. There's a lot more things you can do. And you could still be a tough guy. There's a lot of legitimate people in business, a lot of fucking hard-working people who are tough guys. You don't have to be a gangster. You could enjoy your wife, you could enjoy your kids. That's what I tell them. But if you want to be me, go ahead. Go ahead. But I'm telling you, more than likely you'll either die or go to prison. That's what I knew. And that's what I dealt with. If you want to deal with that, go ahead. Go ahead. Look at Chicago, black guys. They're getting fucking killed, 10, 15, 20 of them every fucking weekend. You want to be a drug dealer and take somebody's spot or do whatever the fuck why they're arguing? Go ahead. Look what you're going to go into. Yeah, you can make some money, some broads maybe. Go ahead. Do it. But percentages are you're going to die. If you're going to do it, accept that. That's part of it. You're going to make money. You're going to get laid. You may get your fucking head blown off. Go ahead. So.
Love it, Sammy. That's a great message for your viewers? I know you get a lot of those comments
Yeah, well,
too.
that's my message to kids. Be a loving fucking, love your fucking mother, your father. I wish I would have did a lot more with my father, some baseball games, some fishing. Once you lose them, you can't do it no more. I love my mother. I wish there was a lot of things she was sick for a while. I wish I could redo that a little bit. I got lost sisters, a brother. Well, a brother I never knew before I was even born. But look around you, bro. Take care of your mother. Take care of your father. Take care of your wife and your kids and you women. Take care of your husband. Make him be a fucking man's man. It's you who will make him a man's man. Not bitching and moaning, not complaining, not fighting. Back him. You'll see you'll make him stronger. You'll love him more.
It's a great message. I agree. All your viewers are agreeing too, Sam. You got a lot of good feedback. I'm going to jump into the super chats. Here we go. Steve Jackson. Hey, Sammy, can you retell the story about the guy who wanted another guy's son killed, but you refused and Paul agreed with you?
That's Nicky Russo you're talking about, I believe, from Philadelphia. He was there. He's actually a made guy in the Gambino family. He was involved in the Johnny Keys thing. His son was killed by a guy named Frankie Steele. He was the head of an Irish crew. They were affiliated with the Philadelphia Mafia. They were always arguing. They bunked into each other one day, and Frankie Steele killed Nicky Russo's son. This was after the Johnny Keys hit. We had done that. So Nicky came to me, Russo, told me about it. We knew about it. The whole family knew about it. And I gave him my condolences, and he said, Sammy, we're not done. So I said, Johnny Keys is dead. We're done. He said, no, this guy, Frankie Steele. And I said, all right, you got to go to Paul. So he went to Paul. Paul gave me that contract as well. I went there. It was somewhere in Jersey, the mall and stuff. I didn't know what he looked like. Or we were checking him out. That was him. We're hidden in a truck way back. And I see him. And he's got 4 or 5 guys around him. Another tough hit. So, and there's other guys that look like a club. It looked like a mafia type of club. And they came together, talking, hanging out. They looked like they were friends. So I said, who are those guys? And Nicky Russo told me they're with the Philadelphia mob. Some of them are friends of ours, meaning made guys. So I said, well, we can't go there. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 guys I could see. And these guys, if we go for him and they intervene, we got to kill some of them. We might be killing friends of ours with another family. I can't do that, bro. So we go back and we're talking and stuff like that. And I told Paul Castellano, I said, Paul, maybe I could reach Nicky Scarfo. I helped him win. He's the boss. And get him to get his people away. He says, do it, Sammy. You got my permission. I reached to Nicky Scarfo and I said, Nicky, this guy, Frankie Steele, you know him? I know of him. Tough kid. What's the problem? I says, I got his ticket, meaning I got the hit on him. And I saw some of your people were around him. I don't know who they are and which one's a friend. All I'd like you to do is turn around and tell them to avoid the guy. Don't go near him. So I'll know that I'm not making a mistake. I wind up hitting somebody who I shouldn't be hitting. He said, Sammy, we got blood on our hands together. We just got done with this whole fucking Johnny Keys thing. He says, we got blood on our hands together, brother. I'll take care of this for you. He's hanging out with my people. I'll take care of it. I said, okay, thank you. And he did. He killed him. He told me, he says he's in a parking lot, he's in a trunk. After a couple of days, the smell or whatever, they'll find him. So I told Nicky Russo, I said, it's done. It's taken care of. Who did it? It doesn't matter who did it. We did it. He's in the trunk of a car. They'll find him in a day or two. They found him. It was in the paper. And Nicky Russo came back to me again. He said, Sammy, thank you, bro. I said, you're welcome. Don't, it's done. It was done is done. I sympathize for your son, but you got revenge and it's done. He said, no, it's not done. I said, what do you mean it's not done? He says he has a son. I want to take a son for a son. You want to kill his son? Yeah. How old is his son? 12 or 13. No, fuck no. No. We're not killing the kid. He didn't do anything anyway. His father did it. His father paid the price. That's it. You got hunk. You got revenge. That's it. I'm not doing it. I'll talk to Paul Castellano. I don't give a fuck who you talk to. I'm not killing a kid. Forget it. He did go to Paul Castellano. Paul Castellano sent for me, and I went to Paul. He said, I heard what you told Nicky, and he told you that you were coming here. And you told him you didn't care, and you wouldn't do it. He said, I'm proud of you. I'm not going to ask you to do it. It's a kid. He's hurt with his son, and he's going overboard with this. I told him the answer to killing the kid is no. No is no. I'm the boss. There's no answer. And I'm going to tell you this, Sammy. I'm proud of what you said and did. And if he keeps asking for this, the next contract you will have is him. I will tell you to take him out. He can't forget. I said, okay, Paul. He never asked again, and it ended. I think that's who you're talking about. So that's the complete story.
It's amazing, Sammy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Harry Nutsack. Clever, guys. Afternoon, Skipper. Here's my envelope for Lily. Did you know John Stanfa, and what kind of guy was he?
John Stanfa, I believe, was with the Philadelphia mob. Ask him if I'm right. I don't want to mix him up with...
Harry Nutsack is he with the Philadelphia mob.
All right.
I'm going to keep an eye on that.
I believe he was there. I knew him. I knew of him. Right now, he's like a fog in my head. I know the name. I'm supposed to know who he is, but I can't place it right this second. So I believe he's from the Philadelphia mob. So correct me if I'm wrong. I won't even go further. But
Come on, chat. John Stanfa.
come on, Nutsack.
Harry.
Oh,
Nutsack.
Harry Nutsack or whatever you name it.
Wait, Sammy, you did it in the interview the other day. You go, durr.
Durr.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll move on to the next one until
All
I
right.
get back. Johnny Roast Beef, you've said that John Gotti was a tough guy and a gangster, but that he wasn't a shooter. How was he respected as a tough guy without being a shooter?
No, I didn't. I said John Gotti was a tough guy. I said I don't know of him in a shooting. I don't know. I can't say I know he shot this guy. I know he gave orders. I always said, don't bank on that he wouldn't shoot you. He would, in my opinion, he would kill you in a fucking split second. He must have killed people. I just don't. I wasn't friends with him. I didn't grow up with him. I don't know who he shot. These are not things we relate to each other a lot of times. We don't sit down, you know who I shot? You know who I shot? You know, when you're in the life, you don't do that. You don't tell each other who you shot. You would tell your boss, because that has to be. I wasn't John's boss. And he didn't know some of the things I did. He knew some, because some of them, listen, the Johnny Keys hit, I'm going to get back to that, was one of the most notorious hits ever done. If you're a mafioso, you'll understand that. It was Mission Impossible. Not even the fucking St. Valentine's Day murder, in my opinion, could compare with it. The same thing that I did the hit with Castellano. There's no hit has ever done with that. Anthony Reggiano just did some interview with somebody, and he said his father, Fat Andy, who was a real tough guy, real big name, along with Tony Lee, they went to prison. His father wanted to know what happened. They told him what happened, and Andy said, wow, this hit was genius. There was no hit ever done like that. In the middle of the day, a middle of 10,000 people, cops on every corner. There's never been a hit done like that. And then he said, Sammy planned this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Fat Andy talking from prison. There's another super, super heavyweight. So was Tony Lee. So I don't know where I was going with this. I just went into another frenzy.
Yeah, John Gotti. You know,
Yeah, so John Gotti, I never said that he never killed anybody or shot anybody. I only said that I was never aware of it. But he was involved in a multitude of murders. And then don't listen to some of these assholes. If you didn't shoot the guy, you're not involved. No, you don't have to shoot the guy. Anybody could shoot somebody. Everybody in the mafia, I think, even racketeers, could and would shoot you if they had to. So you're not talking about one or two guys. You're talking about thousands. There's some guys in the mob I don't think could have shot a fucking fly. But they're very rare. So they were all tough guys in a sense. It's just that I didn't know of him particularly shooting anybody. So I never said that he can't or wouldn't. I really don't believe I ever said that. But if I did, I fucked up because I believe in all my heart and soul that he would kill you in 2 seconds flat.
Nice.
Wouldn't even hesitate. That's
Nice.
my opinion of him.
Thank you, Sammy. Speaking of the Castellano hit, your friend John Ball going to New York City Wednesday this week. Got a reservation for Sparks. Gonna eat like a boss.
Don't mention my name. They'll probably throw you out. I think actually, you know, I was still listening to another interview somebody was doing that Sparks really made a fucking, you know, after that hit, it's like so many people from out of town who went there, wanted to go there to see the place and what it looked like and stuff like that. I think, you know, it was a famous, great steakhouse, but it became a lot more famous after that hit. And if you guys, anybody owners of Sparks Steakhouse, if you're hearing this or somebody tells you, I would like a piece, bro. I did that for you guys. You guys, I didn't do it for you, but you know, you got a lot of benefits. You should send me a fucking envelope, you know, a big envelope.
I agree. Let's go.
Yeah.
El Gato in the super chat.
Wait, Anna, 1 second.
Yeah,
Could
babe.
you imagine if I went to Sparks Steakhouse to eat dinner
Holy
one night?
mackerel.
I mean, the whole press, every fucking body, their mother would be
They
there.
couldn't believe it.
Yeah, they would be crazy.
Did Paul have his own special table? Like, would you go in there and sit down?
I ate with him twice in there. You know, Paul was a butcher. You know, when he ordered a steak, he would say, give me the steak, whatever, medium rare. I want it from the hind of the butt, he knew how the cow, where the best meat was or stuff like that. So the first time I heard him say that, I said, Paul, there's a difference of where the meat comes from. I mean, it comes from a cow. I never thought of what part of the leg or what part of the ass or whatever. I never knew that stuff. And he said, oh, sure there is. And you have to order it the right way. I'll teach you. I said, okay. I never gave a fuck. If it's beef, I eat it. I don't care what part it comes from. I don't want to know. So.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but I don't think he had a special table, but when he called, they gave him a table.
Nice.
They took the table and wouldn't let nobody sit at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't bully them or nothing. They loved him. They loved the steaks and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
He was a gentleman when he was out, so he wasn't galvoonish or anything like that.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Elgato, the boss in Sicily died. Any thoughts about that?
Gato, it makes room for me and you to go over and take over. Fuck this. If he's dead, he's dead. Let's take over. Gato, let's. I love this Gato.
He's so cool.
I like this guy.
Thank you, Elgato. Here's a good one. Bill Curtis in the super chat. Does Lily calm you down after a long, tough day?
I love this dog with a passion, and she does. I live alone. When I go to bed, boom, 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 she runs. She jumps up on the bed. She curls up next to me. When I'm doing a show, she's right over there sitting right under Anna, curled up, looking at me. You know, the dog is great. It really is great. It's one of the smartest dogs I've ever had. She loves people. The only thing I don't like about it, she doesn't like other animals. She'll attack another animal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she'll go over to smell it, but if the dog growls or something, boom, she's at war.
Mm-hmm.
She's a red-boned coonhound, which is a hunting dog,
Mm-hmm.
and they're bred for that. And the other part of her is a German Shepherd, so she's got a little spunk in her, but you'll never see it. Her tail is always wagging. She loves people. She loves attention. Right now, she thinks she's a superstar. She's right at the meeting. Look at her. She knows I'm talking about her. She just looked up and then curled her head back and laid back down. So she's got to be part of everything. She loves being part of it. She's a great, great dog. She never goes in the house. She'll bust. She won't go.
Mm-hmm.
Even when she gets sick or she throws up, she'll run by the outside door, whine and try to push it open. And so if she did throw up, it's right near the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I don't get mad because she's sick. She threw up for whatever reason. You can't get mad at that. But she never defecates or takes a piss in the house. Never.
Yeah. She's
Not
not
even-
a big barker either. She's pretty quiet and
Yeah, she don't bark.
Very
Well, I
good.
taught her not to bark. You know, when I was introduced to Lily, and she was on my bed. And I just had her 2 days. And I told her, move. She didn't move. And I went to push her with my hand, and she went, "Arr." Oh. I said, this bitch is going to bite me. So I got the baseball bat, and I picked it up, and I said, come on, Lily, move. She didn't move. Bing! I hit her off the fucking head. I said, my name is Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano. And if you fucking bite me, I'm going to bang your fucking head in. So she never bit me. She never growled at me again. And I never took the bat. And I love the dog. She's great. Yes, she does. As soon as I go to bed, and when I get up in the morning, she's still snoring. And I go out. I'll make myself a cup of coffee. By the time I walk back to my desk, she's there by my desk. I got a bed for her. She's in that bed. She's around me all the time, 24/7. I never feel like I'm alone. And not that as a guard dog, because I don't think she's a good guard dog. I mean, she'll growl. I'll know something is going on, but I don't think she would attack anybody. She's just a lovable dog. She just loves people.
okay, yeah, she's great. And she gives the paw too. Like when she wants to give
Yes.
you a hug. She just,
And you know I train dogs. When a dog gives you their paw, you know, you pet them, and then they give you their paw. From them, that's a sign of love. They're loving you. Like you're touching them, they're touching you. And if a dog stares at you eye to eye and won't break that eye contact, that's love. That's not disrespect. That's love. So there's a couple of ways you could see that there's love. Now, she's female. If I'm laying down sleeping and I wake up and she's laying on my chest, I'll say, Lily, let's not take this love too far. Get the fuck off my chest.
hey yo.
So,
Oh my goodness, Sam. Okay, JB Weld. Did the Gambinos or any other family ever go to war with another group that wasn't Italian?
no, not an actual war. We were too powerful for any group. There was 5 families just in New York alone. There was another one in Philadelphia, another one in Jersey, the Cavalcanti family. There's too fucking many of us. If a war broke out, everybody in the mafia would be notified. you would become a target for hundreds, if not thousands, of people. You wouldn't stand a chance. And I think everybody knew that. So you didn't really want to go to war with the mafia. We had relationship with black mobs and black mobsters. The Israeli mafia, we were friendly with them. And the Israelis, they're a little bit different than the actual Jewish people here. They're tough. Mexicans are tough people. We had relationships with them. So I think they all knew, you know, there was a place. And we were fairly easy to deal with. You know, there was guys who dealt drugs. And they found their place with Mexicans and blacks and stuff. And so there was places when you bet numbers or sports, we had offices, they would work with us. So there was really no need. They respected us. We respected them. I can't recall an out-and-out war. The only war I could remember with the mafia was in Chicago with Al Capone against, I forgot his fucking name, the Irish mob. And that was a war back and forth. It was Irish against Italians. And they all got destroyed. That's with the St. Valentine's Massacre, that whole crew. Not Bugsy Siegel. See, like Bugsy Siegel and guys like that, that's Jewish mafia. And they were closed. Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, the Jews. Murder Incorporated started with Jews. There was a lot of hit guys in Murder Incorporated. They were all Jews. So we were related with a lot of different people. What the hell was the guy? Guys, help me out. Red, where are you? Help me out. Who was the guy in Chicago with the Irish guys? I forgot his name. I'm getting old as a fuck.
Moran?
Moran.
Good job,
yeah,
guys.
yes, Moran, and people like that. So that war, and it was way before my time, but I knew of that war, I heard of it. But I don't recall any major wars. You know, if you were out of line with the mafia, we would kill you. And it didn't extend into, like, if we killed a black guy, it didn't extend into killing, you know, more black guys or all black guys. No. It was usually an isolated incident, and the same thing if somebody killed one of us. There was usually an isolated incident. I don't remember wars. We had the Irish guys, the Westies, were super close with us in New York. Super close. They were with our family, the Gambino family. So I don't remember wars. When we talked about killing Castellano, that came up about the Westies, that he had a very close relationship with them. So we worried a little bit about them. But I don't remember any major wars with other nationalities or races or stuff like that. No, I don't remember.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Big Chief sends his weekly envelope, no comment, no question, just a kick up to the boss.
Thank you, bro.
AK wants to know, did you testify against Lorenzo Menino?
I believe so.
We'll move on. JB Weld, any dealings with Dux Carrillo? He isn't talked about much, but it seems like he ran a tight ship. I looked up his former mansion, and the place was enormous.
Who's this?
It was Dux Carrillo?
Oh, Corallo. Joe Butch's cousin or something like that. As soon as we took over, we killed him. There was a problem with him and Frankie the Chico before we took over. There was very bad blood there. So as soon as we took over, I think the first guy we hit was him. And it wasn't me. I wasn't involved in the hit. I knew about it. But Frankie ordered the hit. And it was Joe Watts who actually did the hit with, I think Frankie Botts might have been there. But he got hit right away. He got hit right in a club, Joe Butcher's club. And yeah, I think he was the first hit we did after Castellano.
Thank you, Sammy. There you go, JB Weld. Bob Gable, were the DeCavalcantes in New Jersey a real family? They say that The Sopranos are based on them. Did you know them?
I knew quite a few of them. Matter of fact, when they were doing the show, there was a couple of maid guys sitting in a car. The car was bugged. They didn't know it. And one guy was bragging, they're doing the show about us and this and that. So a producer was talking to me about it, and I said, I know who that is. He said, who did it? Who was that? I said, Joey Tinair. Guaranteed. He said, holy shit, how the fuck do you know that? But I knew quite a few of them. It wasn't a major family, secondary family. I was very friendly with their underboss for a while. He was killed. I knew a lot of them because in the construction business, they had some construction stuff that happened in Jersey and stuff like that. They weren't allowed to come over the bridge and pour concrete, stuff like that. So I sat with them a bunch of times, and I knew quite a few of them. We met with the boss, me and John Gotti met with the boss of them. Matter of fact, John got a little uppity with the boss. He was a zip from Italy, and in a meeting he was complaining about how good the mafia is in Italy and not over here. John took a little offense to that. I didn't say a word, I just listened. And he said, oh yeah, well, in Italy, you're allowed to do drugs, heroin. You're allowed to be a pimp. You're allowed to use bombs. And we don't do that here. Oh, we should be doing that so we're just as good as them? And he was a little thrown back. And then he backed up. And he had two sons. I forgot their name. He made both of them. One of them was a captain, a fat ass guy that didn't belong in the street, let alone being in the mafia, let alone being a captain. But I met them a couple of times. I don't even remember their names. They were insignificant. When he went away, the boss, they kind of, they're the Sopranos. And that's what they were in the street. A lot of them were actors.
You say actors?
Yeah, they
Calling
weren't all.
walnuts.
Some of them weren't tough. I had a hit on one of their houses. I was going to use the guy's house. He had a fucking heart attack. The guy. I mean, you're going to do it in my house? He had a house. He was building a house. It was brand new. It was under construction. Nobody was there. My brother already was friendly with the guy. I don't want to even mention his name. It's hard to even remember his name. But Eddie says, on the way home to Staten Island, we'll stop by Toad Hill. He's building a house, so he wants to show us. So I went in, and it was a big house, big piece of land with a wooden fence all the way around. You could hardly see it from the road. So when I walked in, and he was showing me the kitchen and where the kitchen was going to be. It was all 2x4s. It wasn't built yet. Where the bathroom was going to be, and this and that and the other thing. And I thought, the guy who we were going to hit was friendly with this guy. So he was showing me the bathroom. I said, this is great. Let's get back to the garage. He said, that's where we'll go out. Yeah, well, let's go back to the garage. So we went back to the garage, and I said, listen, you know the guy, and you got to send for him, and then we're going to take him out. Yeah, I know, Sammy, I know. Good. I'll have all plastic on the walls, and I'll have guys dressed up as painters. You bring them here. You walk into the garage. When you walk into the door that goes into the house, take a real quick step, and we'll blast them right in the garage. Be all plastic all around the floor, the walls, everything. We'll take his body, we'll put him in a trunk. One guy will be out by the gate, and he'll close the gate after you come in. and I'll have 1 or 2 more guys outside as landscapers. Is he going to kill him in my house? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great. It's a house gift from me to you. I mean, he fucking had a heart attack. He turned white as a fucking ghost. He turned around, grabbed some guy who was a maid guy in the family, and made him shoot the guy in Staten Island coming out of his house.
Oh my God.
And then sent a message to me. They told Big Louie, who didn't know about the hit at all, tell Sammy we took care of that thing. So when Louie says, Sammy, they came by, Vinny Ocean and another one, I can't think of his name, said they took care of that thing. They did such a rush job. The guy who did it had his own plate on his car. He got caught. He wound up ratting. Big Louie got pinched on that case. He didn't know what the fuck happened. The feds came down and talked to me about it. You're going to be a defense witness? Yes. Why? Because he had no knowledge of the hit. He had no nothing on the hit. The guy who's telling you he was involved in the hit is full of shit. He was told one thing, and even your witness says that. Tell Sammy that we took care of that thing. He didn't know what the fuck he meant. When he told me, Sammy, they took care of that thing, he had no knowledge of what he was talking about. I says, oh yeah, good, all right. So how was he arrested for a murder? He has no fucking clue who said what or what happened or anything. We didn't even do it. They did it. And now they're ratting and they're going to rat on him? For what? So yes, I'm going to testify for him. And they offered Louis a really good plea, took the plea and was gone. But yeah, that's the DeCavalcanti family. The guy, I went to his house. Now, if it was my house, I would have told my wife, listen, stay in the bedroom and go to sleep. Whatever you hear, just stay asleep. Take some sleeping pills. Don't worry about what's going on. But this guy, before the house was built, I thought it was great. It was under construction. Nobody would have known. We would have wrapped up all the plastic, got rid of it, got rid of him in the car. Goodbye. Nobody knows. Done.
Different plates.
But I guess going home every day, when he pulls into his garage, he's going to think of it. Whatever it was that bothered him, he didn't want to do it. And he did it ass backwards. So,
Great story, Sammy.
yeah.
God, thank you. Stephen wants to know, Sammy, what do you think about the mafia today?
I think it's like the Gowanus Club. I think it's, listen, I understand that I have a lot of friends still all over the place. I understand they don't kill anymore. And I think it's a very smart move. I know when I was young and around, and after I cooperated, the government had like 14, 15 agents on each family. So we had constant pressure going to pension and going to prison. When they stopped killing, they reduced those things down from 14 agents to 2. So then they don't give a fuck. You're not killing. What are you doing? Taking numbers, taking horses, bets, and whatever, a little labor racketeering or whatever. They weren't all that interested no more. So it's a smart move. It's a little weird. I mean, because when a guy breaks rules, you got to do something. So what you do is disgrace him by throwing him out instead of killing him. So killing, the public don't like killing. It's actually a good thing, but it's a different kind of a mafia than I understood it, than how it worked. And they're not going to jail in droves. You don't hear major cases all over the place, which is good. So I think it's a smart thing, but it's not the mafia anymore of what it was. I'm sure that black gangs or Mexican gangs or whatever kind of gang you want to get, have no fear of them no more. They don't kill. Why should you be afraid of them? And then you get a guy who's a little nuts. How do you control him without doing something? All right, throw him out. It's working for them. It's good. They got these groups, M13 and all these fucking weird gangs. They'll kill somebody when they rob a kid's bike. They'll go into a bodega store, give me the money. The guy gives them the money, they shoot him. Good. Let them take that heat. Let them take all those problems. The public will hate them. You can't win a case. That's how it was with the mafia when we were killing. When you got labeled as a mafioso, you couldn't win a case if you stood on your fucking head unless you were bribing people or threatening people. So it's a good move, actually. There's guys who cooperated by the bucket loads in the streets in New York. I mean, I'm not the only guy who cooperated. Hundreds of guys cooperated, hundreds. And some of them are walking around the streets talking, and they don't get killed. And good. More power to them. I hope they last longer. Eliminating murder, it's hard to control, but I think overall it's a good thing. And the old timers, the old foxes, sit back. They get a little envelope here, a little envelope there. They don't have to worry about going to prison. They ain't really doing shit. So I think it's a good thing all the way around. But it's more of a Knights of Columbus, Gowanus Club, that type of thing. If they could help you, they lost all the unions with the RICO law. They lost everything. So they take their little bite and they'll sit in the club and play cards or something. But no more tough guy shit, no more murders. And actually a good thing for Italian people out of the mafia all the way around. They don't have to be ashamed of what we did. We don't have that bad reputation anymore. I think it's a good thing. I think some of them could kill. I mean, if you put them in a fucking weird position, they might kill you. But you really got to go overboard. They're not even killing people who cooperated. Now, when I was younger, if you cooperated, they didn't give a fuck. They're going to kill you. But, you know, time changes everything. It changed the mafia. And it's not just the mafia. Look at us. Look what they got open borders. We're getting slammed, and we're not doing anything. The public would have never tolerated. When I was back in New York, they would have never tolerated 50,000 or 200,000 immigrants coming in there, laying all over the streets, bothering women, children, murders going on. They would have never tolerated that. So in some cases, I think you would wish the mafia was back what it was.
Right.
They would have never allowed that. I don't think cops would have allowed that. In this day and age, so everything changes. Time changes everything. I look at it, the only thing I don't like kids being bothered. I look at how are my grandchildren and great-grandchildren going to grow up in this country. It's a fucking mess. So the mafia is no different. It's a mess, more or less. I look at it as that it's a smart move. You got people now, a guy's a boss in Philadelphia, he's on YouTube. Unimaginable years ago. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to imagine it. And now it's being done. Hey, more power to them. You want to be a gangster, you want to be on YouTube, go ahead. If nobody's bothering you, nobody cares, life goes on. It's a different world. It's a different time. That's why a lot of these stories about the mafia, movies that'll come out, we're going to look at not what's going on now. We're going to look at what happened, the history of the mafia. That's why I become disturbed with being compared with bullshit that's going on out. When I say I become disturbed, it's not just for me. For the people back then, they were good people, they were tough people, they kept good neighborhoods. This crap could never have happened back then. So you can't say they were all evil. We lived evil moments, but we didn't live every day of our life. I never got up every morning and say, oh, you know, who am I going to kill? Or who am I going to rob? I never did that. I loved people. I hung out. I played cards. I loved to play pinochle, stuff like that. I loved going out with broads. It was all part of a different lifestyle, a different time. So everything changes, my friend. everything changes, including the mafia.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. We're about 20 minutes past time, but I just want to get to a couple more super chats. If we miss your super chat, we will definitely do it at the top of the hour next week. So Tony wants to know, did you deal with any Albanians from New York City?
Yes, quite a few Albanians. Frankie LaCasio had one of his top guys was an Albanian. There was some real tough guys who were Albanians. There's some Albanians right now who are talking on shows who ain't that tough. They think they're tough, they talk tough, and they're full of shit. But the real Albanians, the ones I knew, they were tough guys, good guys, loyal guys to the mafia. And they were gentlemen. So there's a lot of tough Albanians.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. TJD 1018 wants to know, Sammy, did you have any affiliation with anyone from the JFK airport in the import business, namely John Bo Batari? What about Don Pepe Restaurant?
John Pepe Restaurant?
Mm-hmm. Any affiliations from the JFK airport in the import business?
No, not really. John Gotti had connections in there, but the real big hook up there was, like in Goodfellas, the Paul Vario crew, the Lucchese family. I mean, they had that tied up like a bow, like a ribbon. It was tied up. They had union people there. They had foremans. They had that place really wrapped up good, tight, just like they did in Goodfellas. Now, John Gotti and his crew had some connections there, not like they did, but had some connections there. I did one or two or three hijackings that I was on. It wasn't out of the airport. We grabbed guys in the street. But I wasn't really a hijacker. I never really had that opportunity too much. If I had the opportunity, I would do it. You know, I couldn't drive a truck, those big trucks. Mm-hmm. And I really wasn't into that. So mostly I was into construction, unions in construction, stuff like that, loan sharking, gambling, a club, you know, different kind of rackets. I did a hijacking or two as a kid, but when I got older, I didn't go near hijacking. I didn't do it.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. Camden Glazer in the super chat wants to let you know that he loves your life story and it's very inspiring.
Thank you, my friend.
John Ball with the Sparks, saying he's going to Sparks. Come join, dinner on me.
I can't go to New York. They won't allow me. I'm on parole, lifetime parole, and they won't allow me. I would actually love to go with you. He's a great guy, this guy, John Ball. He was on the border. He, you know, real good guy. And he gave me something that I'm very proud of. It was a pin and his cufflinks. It was an award he won, and he gave me that. I'm very proud of it. It's on my desk. It sits there every day. And great guy, him and his son, same name, pair of bulls. I call them the Bull family.
KIC, and this will be the last super chat. Anything I missed again, guys, Sammy will answer next Monday. KIC, what's up, Sammy? No questions from me. Just wanted to say, fuck Biden, spreading the message everywhere I can. Have a great day, brother.
Same to you, brother. Same to you. And all you guys, I love all you guys. And, you know, all these movies, I'm working on these things feverishly. I mean, every day I talk with different ends of it. We're so close to putting it together. We're really, the thing that's in our way right now is the actors' strike. As soon as that's over, I think we're going to be running 100 miles an hour and making it, you're going to hear about it. It'll come out. And it takes long to make, so it may take 8 months, a year. But my stories are going to come out on TV, movies. They're going to come out. I give you my word. And it's you guys who are helping, pressing like, subscribe, stuff like that. That when you go to sell, they love how many subscribers you got. Now I got, I think, 573,000. You know, I hope I get more. I get 600 or 700 or 800,000. It's a good tool for me, for them. I showed them subscribers. Ooh, a lot of those people might watch the movie, so they want to do the movie. And it gives them an incentive. It doesn't give me any extra money or anything like that, but it shows your love, your support, and I show it to them. Yeah, here's what I got. Here's my people, and I flash it. So I became a flasher.
In a good way.
All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm getting signals from all over the place. People are throwing dirt balls at me now. All right. Adios, motherfuckers.